Today we're going to review how to do select colorization. Before I begin, I want to make sure of my colors. I want to make sure that my foreground is black and the background is white. Duplicate the layer, and I'm going to rename this as black white. Now I want to add an adjustment layer. Adjustment layer, and I'm going to choose black and white. Now the image is black and white. Next I want to go to the brush, and wherever I brush, that is going to erase the black and white adjustment layer, and therefore will allow the color to show through. Now, if by chance I accidentally do that, and that's not what I want to do, I can go and use the eraser tool to erase that and go back to the section that it was. To zoom in, I can do Control+ on my keyboard to zoom in, and up here on the brush I can also go in and change the size of the brush as needed. Here is a similar method. I've got my background layer, duplicate the layer, and I'm going to call this SAT, short for Saturation. I'm going to add my adjustment layer, and I'm going to choose hue and saturation instead of black and white. Now I'm going to take the saturation down to -100. Same principle. I can go and use the brush tool. Let me zoom in. Okay, and then the brush is going to be where we will literally take away the adjustment layer where it is in grayscale, and then we'll be able to have the umbrella or the color part show through. In this instance, I'm going to do this a little bit different. So depending on your design, it may be easier for you to use the Lasso tool or a quick selection tool. In this case, I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool, and I'm just going to lasso around the entire phone booth. So now I've got my subject area. However, I don't want to make my husband and I in London in the red booth gray. I want to make it opposite. So now I'm going to go to select and inverse. So now everything except what's in the center here is what I will use. So I've got my background layer, and I'm just going to go to Add Adjustment Layer and choose black and white. Now everything else is black and white except for the part right here. So this is a different way to do the select colorization, where you can use the lasso tool instead of having to go and use the brush tool. I'm going to do a short review here really quick. So as you can see, my London guard is not straight. So to straighten them, I'm going to go to Crop and Straighten. I'm also going to check the Content Aware box. But first I want to click Straighten. So here I'm just going to draw on this shape here because that's what I want to straighten. And now it is straight. And I can also make sure I have the content aware fill in case I need to straighten. It's still a little bit crooked. Okay, so I'm going to select right here. Okay, so now we have it a little bit better selected. So right here, as you can see, I am missing part of this image. Okay, but if I have content aware fill checked, it will automatically fill in that section to make it a little bit easier. To see. So in this one, I want to use the magnetic lasso tool. Remember, when using the magnetic lasso tool, we have to make sure that the lasso part goes and meets itself at the beginning. Believe it or not, the lasso tool actually works best when you go a little bit faster and you don't try to go through. So right here, so I want to make sure that it completes. So I've got my soldier here. So again, for this type, I'm going to go to select and inverse. Now I'm going to click on the layer mask and just choose black and white. So now everything except for that layer is now black and white. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great tutorials on how to use Photoshop as part of the Adobe Academy.